All right, into the weekly, we get the triple horse start and take the turn 1 Nightcrawler. Now this is another special weekly. Last time we had the broom, which was removing your entire team, but giving you extra gold every turn. This time we have a much easier extra toy, which is the tiny house. And you can see here, I make use of it by just ending turn on turn 2. And that means that all the 10 gold that I hadn't spent gets carried over to turn 3. So now we can roll for more Nightcrawlers and Storks, which are going to go well together. There we find one already. So I'm definitely a big fan of them doing these kind of special event weeklies with the extra gameplay features that aren't available in the other modes. I think this one probably would have made more sense as the first wacky weekly, since it's almost optional really. You don't have to use the toy at all, whereas with the broom last time, you had no choice. Everyone was going to have their team wiped, no matter what they did. But with the tiny house, you basically can just choose not to use it, and I think quite a lot of people are not using it or using it very sparingly, because there isn't necessarily a huge advantage to carrying that gold over. I think initially, the way I've been using it is to carry as much gold as possible to turn 5, and then just rolling for Griffin in order to try and get a high level Griffin early and get access to the the high powered, high leveled units very rapidly. But I don't know how good a strategy that is. It's pretty difficult to get the high level Griffin on turn 5, even if you actually hit a load of them, having had 30 gold to spend. And then generally you're losing multiple rounds. There's a lot of teams with lots of figs in the mid game, and so if you don't have some way of weathering that storm, you're just going to bleed lives, and you're never going to get to the point where the treasure chest can actually break. I have had some decent runs with it, but I don't think any of them were really worth uploading. Now here I do freeze the chameleon, thinking about trying to use it with one of the toy pets. And the other thing I wanted to mention about this weekly is that a lot of the pets are crossing over with the last wacky weekly, which had Nightcrawler as well, actually. In fact, I think it was on the promotional image for the weekly. The Nightcrawler was kind of featured. But there's also Turkey, there's Fly, there's Snake, Gharial, Puma. There's a lot of crossover between the two packs. And I think I would have liked to have seen a bit more variety. There are definitely some units in this that were not in last time, and they do have an effect on the way the pack plays, but I think I would have liked to have seen a bit more of a shuffle in order to for this to feel like something completely different to the Broom Weekly. That being said, you can definitely do stuff in this one that is significantly different to the last one. And I don't think I'm going to do anything particularly special here, because we're just trying to get the Nightcrawler over the line, plus hopefully getting the level 3 as well. So since the toy is about to break, I'm just going to take the Mosasaurus. And then, we're most likely to keep both the Stork and the Nightcrawler, so I'm going to play the Tatzelworm out of position. It would be much better behind the Stork, where we get 2 max damage snipes. So you are going to see quite a lot of sniping teams in this weekly, but I think it's a little bit more balanced overall compared to the Broom Weekly, because there are, the snipes give a check to the Turkey summon teams, but also there are some late game scaling options. We've got Mosasaurus, as you can see here. There's Mongoose and Puma, and then we've got T-Rex as well. Now there is also Chicken, although I'm not really sure how good it is. You can play Chicken plus Chocolate Cake, although you do tend to find that your Chicken will get sniped by figs from opposing teams quite frequently. So Chocolate Cake isn't necessarily the best option. But there's not really much support for the Chicken. There's no whale, no mushroom, etc. So I have had some decent Chicken games, but I think it's probably one of the weakest options this pack. So as we let the run play out here, we are gradually starting to win more rounds. I should say that this video looks probably longer than you would expect, and that's because there's going to be extra runs at the end. I ended up recording a bunch of different runs in this weekly, but as I keep mentioning about the backlog of videos, I really need to strike a balance between uploading old footage and new. Otherwise, I'm just never going to get through all the stuff that hasn't been uploaded yet. I was looking at some of the stuff that's been on the list to upload, and things that I expected to upload within a week of recording them, it's now been like a month. So yeah, I'm laughing there. I noticed I put Mosasaurus at the back, not realizing the treasure map was about to break, and so I missed out on the buffs. But yeah, not the end of the world. It's only a level 1. Sparrow is actually something that's quite interesting in this pack as well. You can play Sparrow with a bunch of strawberries, although there isn't that much protective equipment. There's garlic and there's pita bread. But the Sparrow does kind of give you access to much better damage mitigation. As you can see here, yep, we are going to get past this Minotaur team. I think, yeah, one of the problems with pita bread is that the sheer amount of snipes does tend to mean that your units with pita can often get sniped before they get the chance for the pita bread to go off, especially if you play them at the back. Having said that, the Sparrow with Strawberry, even at level 3, it only allows you to block 1 snipe. So I think if they end up having 3 or 4 crocodiles like a lot of teams do, the Strawberry armor isn't really going to work out in quite a lot of situations. So I think, yeah, a lot of teams do the same thing as me, which is kind of play a unit at the back that they don't really care too much about, and it's just there to absorb the snipes. Now, actually, there I got the level 3 drop bear from the treasure chest, and honestly, I probably could have kept that. I mean, it works really well with Tatzelworm, but maybe I had something specific in mind that I wanted to go for. I can't remember. And then here we just do a couple of buy sells to increase the health on the Daycrawler that spawns from the Nightcrawler. Now we have got one of the new perks here on the Stork, the Baguette, which, and I think in a previous turn it removed Coconut from Doberman, which was really nice. And then there's also Pelican, which I think is quite interesting. I'm not sure how good it is. I think the salmon was definitely pretty sketchy on the test server, but it looks like it's been toned down quite a lot. So it, previously on the test server, it was kind of like lionfish, where it was just spawning and then wiping everything. But it seems like now you're not really going to be able to get a very high volume of snipes from the Pelican. And there is actually a Velociraptor as well. So if you want to get a full strawberry synergy going, I guess you can do that. Although I'm not sure how Velociraptor and Pelican interact. I assume they're kind of anti-synergistic. I haven't tried it myself. If you want to see a clip of me playing Velociraptor, I'll link in the description to Haps' last video, which has a bonus clip at the end. Well, I won't spoil what happens in it, but I'll link that below. So you can see there the type of scaling you can get from the Puma plus Mongoose. And then I end up just taking another Cerberus so that we have extra fire pups to spawn in front of the Tatzelworm. And yeah, fairly typical looking team. Same idea with the multiple feints in front of the snake. But the snake isn't going to be able to do the same kind of damage as the level 3 Tatzelworm plus level 3 Stork. And the level 3 Nightcrawler team gets the win from the turn 1 tier 2. So here we go with the bonus clips, and here's one of the examples I was talking about where I tried to get level 3 Griffin as quickly as possible, and a lot of the time I was just rolling, wasting gold, and I would just buy a crocodile if I saw one, because it had a chance to potentially buy me a victory just by sniping something dangerous in the backline. So we managed to get the Griffin here, and we're actually on 8 trophies, so selling the treasure map, we have to survive for 4 turns, so we don't want to win. But our team is basically just, okay, now it is definitely just 5 crocodiles. And you would think that this team is pretty horrible. Look at we have absolutely no health to speak of. But there are a lot of opposing teams in the same boat. As you can see, that one there gets completely wiped. And I just keep finding crocodiles here, so I'm going to take the level ups. And I'm just assuming that sooner or later I'm going to face some stronger teams and end up losing as a result. Although, to be honest, by this stage, I'm not sure what I could get from the treasure chest that would, I'm not sure I would really have the time to build a team around it. Although we do end up getting a draw here, which is nice. And I was really hoping for more of the same. We end up getting another crocodile. Now, taking the fig here probably is a bit contrary to the idea of trying to farm draws. But, yeah, this is more like what I was expecting to see. You do see quite a lot of people who have immediately pivoted to full tier 6 teams with T-Rex. But in the end, we actually end up winning kind of by accident. So, extremely low statted 5 croc victory there. Now here's one where I did manage to get chicken going to a reasonable level. I think I had 2 of them. So we're up to almost a 30-30 shot. And then we get drawn against this team. It's super unfortunate to face a full melon squad on turn 18. Now the only way to get melon is from Gariel, but this person was clever. They gave it to the seagull. That meant that they could then pass out melons for free to every unit that they bought. And although we are going to chip away at this team with the snakes, we do end up losing. I think even without the melon on the Harpy Eagle there, it was going to be a loss. So yeah, kind of unfortunate, but that was the best chicken run that I had. Now here's one that is probably, I don't know if this is the easiest one, but we roll down for the last T-Rex on turn 17. We don't find it. We now have 2 50-50s. We're just hoping for a loss. Very similar looking team to the last opponent in the snake game. And the great one appears. I could have done with a great one in the last battle to remove all those melons. But yeah, we are going to lose here. So we get one last chance to find another T-Rex. And actually it's in the starting shop. And because we have 2 50-50s already, the other units are going to get guaranteed receive the buffs. So yeah, we don't buy it yet because we want to bring in the toy, and I'll take the Nutcracker in case it ends up being a tie, and then we can scam the win. And then I'll put the weakest one at the back just to tank some crocodile snipes, because we're basically guaranteed to face one this late. And here's a team going for the Pelican, swallowing the 2 units. Yeah, you can see there the salmons pop out, but they just don't do enough damage. And we're going to get the victory with the 5 T-Rexes. So yeah, probably the easiest one to go for. Maybe you could use the tiny house to carry over gold to turn 11 and help you find a bunch of them early, and then they just scale to the moon. Now this one is more interesting. This is going for 5 chameleons. And the difficulty here is that there is no flying squirrel. I don't think there's waffle either. You don't have any way to persist the toy, which means you just have to keep finding the toys that you need. And I think here I want to find Gariel just to keep the snipes going. We are going to manage to scrape a draw here just. But I also still need to find 2 chameleons. And the other downside here is that once I sell the Puma, we're going to lose 2 of the foam sword snipes. So yeah, I'm just going to roll down for chameleon here. I think really, if I was going for this seriously, you would probably have to go for multiple Pumas with TV for the first few toy breaks in order to try and scale the chameleons a bit better. Although they are, the one at the front here is 20-20. That's really not good enough against a lot of the T-Rex squads. And those squads are going to be pretty well equipped to absorb tons of foam sword hits anyway. But I think we are going to win here. Yep. So we're inching closer to having the full chameleon squad. But we do need to find Gariel again because the toy's going to break next turn. There isn't really a better toy to take, I don't think. I'm not entirely sure what happens with the Great One toy. I guess it doesn't work properly. Or maybe when the chameleon faints, it summons a Great One. I can't remember. There definitely are some weird interactions with the toys. And Puma plus the toy from the fairy doesn't really work, I don't think. Even though you'd expect it to summon 2 of the giant-eyed dogs, I think you only get 1. There's actually a weird glitch where the chameleon, the musical note for the chameleon is back to front. It's the same for the parrot as well. So here, I guess you can watch out for that at the end of turn. But here we roll down and we actually find a 5th chameleon on the last roll, but it is turn 21. So we really need to face a very strange looking opponent. Despite the sheer number of snipes, as you can see here, the musical notes are all back to front. We really need a low-statted team to have a chance here. And it's a big T-Rex team. So yeah, that will be GG's. But it was fun getting that far. I definitely think you could win with 5 chameleons in this weekly, as long as you just got them all early enough. Because you don't need them to have big stats if you're sniping low-statted opposing teams in the earlier turns, you know, turn 13, 14 maybe. Turn 21 is definitely just a bridge too far.